Ever since that first day, mankind has looked up at the stars and wondered what might be out there. And that curiosity is the fuel that launched a 20-year race to the space that ended in one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Since that day, humans and our technology have journeyed somewhere in the ballpark of 11 billion miles from Earth, which is how far Voyager 1 has gotten on its mission of exploration. At this point, we know more about space than we do about what's at the bottom of our own oceans. But even that isn't much. Space is infinite, so it comes as no surprise to anyone that there are plenty of mysteries out there that we may never figure out, and a whole lot of other stuff that's just, well, weird. From a face on Mars to an entire galaxy made up of dark matter, we give you 10 strange things found in space. Face on Mars. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a face on Mars? In this picture taken by the Viking orbiter in 1976, we can see what clearly looks like a giant face carved out of a mountain. And this singular image sent conspiracy theorists into a flurry of assumption. Many argue that it was proof of the notion that there was an advanced civilization on Mars. Scientists, of course, were quick to dismiss these rumors as false. But it was hard to convince people when the evidence was literally staring them in the face. That is, until a new probe called the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter took a more up-close look at this unique structure. With this new close-up, scientists have been able to confirm what they suspected all along. The so-called face is nothing more than an oddly shaped hill, likely with a volcano lurking beneath its surface, but it still captured the imagination of millions. 55 Cancri E, aka the Diamond Planet. If diamonds are a girl's best friend, then ladies must love 55 Cancri E, also known as the Diamond Planet. While its name isn't exactly the most elegant, when scientists originally discovered this so-called super-Earth, a mere 40 light-years from our planet, they saw the fact that it had a carbon rather than oxygen-based atmosphere. Even the planet's sun contained more carbon than our own. So, instead of being made up of granite and water, the surface of the world was likely to be layered of graphite surrounding a high-pressure diamond inside. Basically, it was like those videos of putting a piece of pencil lead in a microwave. But new estimates of carbon concentrations of 55 Cancri E have found that the planet's sun actually has more oxygen than was originally thought. In fact, it's 25% more oxygen than carbon. Essentially, while the planet could still be higher in carbon than oxygen, the fact that its sun isn't tells us that we might have been wrong in our original estimates. Fomalhaut, the Red Eye of Sauron. If you've ever looked up into the southern night sky and seen a single lonely star, then chances are you were looking at Fomalhaut. Located in a region that typically only hosts extremely dim stars, this part of the constellation Pisces Austrinus can sometimes look like it's all alone. In fact, it's even been called things like the Solitary One or the Lonely One. It's often more visible in the autumn months and is pretty cool to look at. But an up-close and personal look at the 17th brightest star in the sky has earned it a new nickname, the Real Eye of Sauron. And it's not hard to see why. Surrounded by rays of light, the whole thing looks like a giant burning eyeball in the sky. And scientists even think Fomalhaut might have its own planet hiding in these rays. They've dubbed this new planet Fomalhaut B, but maybe they should have called it Mordor. By the way, if you love science stuff and things about space, we'd like to take this time to invite you to check out Destiny. This channel explores the outer reaches of space, the Earth, the universe, and all things mysterious and unexplained. Head over and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications and check out all the cool videos. Cataclysmic variables. Do you know that moment in movies where the astronaut is outside the ship in some kind of spacesuit and their cable breaks? They drift away, floating aimlessly on through space for what's theoretically forever. While this depiction makes for a good TV drama, the fact of the matter is that gravity keeps things together in space. It's far more likely they'd get sucked into the pole of whatever planet or star they were nearby, which is still a really bad situation, but it's not as explosive as what happens when two stars meet in space. If you didn't already know, it's possible for one star to capture another. While this phenomenon is relatively unstudied, when two stars pass close enough to each other, the larger star will sort of pull the other in and create this gravitational twist of hot energy called a cataclysmic variable. These pretzels of light and heat become locked together and can even demonstrate nuclear fusion. Ton 618. Caused by the collapse of massive stars, black holes are regions of space that have an intense gravitational pull that nothing, not even light, can escape them. Often they're only observed by the spiraling ring of light radiation as they pull everything in. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, scientists have recently discovered a supermassive black hole just 10.4 billion light-years from Earth. They named this terrifying eating machine Ton 618, and it's so incredibly huge that just the light around it is 140 trillion times brighter than our Sun. It's considered one of the largest black holes in the entire universe and has an equivalent gravitational pull to about 66 billion times our Sun. While humanity may never live long enough to see this event in person, at the rate it's growing, Ton 618 will no doubt devour our little blue planet someday. Boomerang Nebula, the coldest place in the universe. If you feel like you're freezing just stepping out of the shower, then you definitely don't want to visit the Boomerang Nebula. This odd region of space is believed to be the coldest place in the universe. It's so cold that it's actually colder than space itself. How it accomplishes this seemingly impossible feat was a mystery to scientists for 20 years, but recent telemetry suggests that this phenomenon could be the result of two stars latching onto one another. The force of this small companion star latching onto a larger red giant likely flung a bunch of gas off into space. The force of that collision caused the gases to rapidly expand and cool until they were much cooler than the space around them. While this still might not be the exact cause of the cold, it's the best guess we've had since the nebula was first discovered in 1995. The Ravenous Pulsar. When a star goes supernova, it sends massive amounts of energy out into the universe, and one form that energy can take is pulsars. Pulsars are essentially spiraling neutron stars. Now, normally, the effect of gravity from surrounding bodies will eventually slow and stop pulsars, but J1311-343 appears to be unlike all the others. Weighing as much as 2 of our suns, this little star the size of Washington, D.C., has captured a regular star in its gravitational pull. In this deadly twist of energy, the two stars rotate around one another once every 93 minutes, and each time, the pulsar siphons a little more off the regular star. This suction of energy off the other star is actually increasing the pulsar's speed. Eventually, the other star will have nothing left, and it'll be just the pulsar spinning by itself until, like all the others, it slows to a halt. The Lonely Planet. Normally, planets would work sort of like ours. They orbit larger gravitational bodies. They may or may not have other planet neighbors. There are even some theories that say a planet needs the gravitational spin of a larger object to even form. But scientists have recently been studying a weird planet-like object that seems to be all alone. Now, there is such a thing as rogue planets, or planets that seem to be traveling on their own around entire galaxies rather than within them. But while this particular rogue, dubbed CFB-DSIR 2149-0403, is traveling in the same general area as a group of rogue planets around the Milky Way, it's not going at quite the same trajectory. It's also fairly light. We're talking a planet 6 times the size of Jupiter, but lighter. This could mean that this rogue planet isn't even a planet at all, but rather a brown dwarf star with high metal content. Sun refueling UFO? There's no denying that we can see some pretty strange things when we peer deep into the sky. Satellites and space probes have brought us some incredible and unique looks into what the actual reaches of space look like. But it's safe to say that scientists were puzzled by what they saw in one particular photo taken of the sun. This photograph appears to show a planet-sized sphere in the actual sun. A tendril seems to connect this unidentified object to the sun, and YouTube lit with conspiracy theories ranging from an alien ship refueling on hot plasma to the birth of a new planet. But according to NASA, this image is a rare example of a little-known phenomenon called prominence. Basically, this is a bubble of dense, cooler plasma popping off the surface of the sun. No one really knows how or why they form, but they can send energy blasting light years into space. Dark Galaxy X. Nothing could exist without duality. Without mountains, there are no valleys. Without the dark, there is no light. And without dark matter, none of what we experience today could exist. According to some scientists, even our very own Milky Way has its own personal foil, known as Galaxy X. This galaxy of dwarf planets is rumored to exist on the end of our own. It also happens to be full of dark matter. This invisible galaxy would be a sort of bubble galaxy branching off from ours, and, while not everyone believes it exists, there have been a few scientists who analyze data that suggests there are unseen stars radiating energy into the surrounding areas. If Galaxy X exists, it could be the glue holding the Milky Way together, an odd offshoot, or simply just another part of space that happens to be there. But until we figure out a way to see or photograph dark matter, it's all rather speculative. And that concludes our video on the strange things found in space.